From roughly 2000 to 2005, I lived on the south edge on Northern Virginia. This was a rural area with houses set far apart from each other, surrounded by fairly dense woods. There was a phenomenon that I came to call the woodwalkers. Due to insomnia, I had a bad tendency to stay up very late at night, sometimes all the way until dawn. Frequently, I'd leave the window partially open all night long in order to let a cool breeze in. On some occasions late at night, well after midnight, I'd hear something loudly crashing through the woods behind the house. It always sounded like a large man staggering drunkenly through the woods, always along the same path from the direction of the driveway down towards the Bull Run River. The leaves would be rustling very loudly, as if a large person were carelessly dragging their feet along the ground. Branches would be snapping, as if the person was lurching blindly through the forest. I couldn't tell if it was one person or several people, but the passing through the woods always created an alarming amount of noise. I came to expect to hear the woodwalkers every 2 weeks or so. And after a while, whenever I heard the noise of woodwalkers, I would peer out the window trying to discern who or what was making all the noise at such a late hour. I never saw a thing, no outlines of figures, and no glow from a flashlight. The really strange thing about this to me is that the apparent path they were traversing through came from nowhere and went nowhere. They just stumbled through the woods, apparently tearing their own path through the wilderness, going deeper into the woods. It's also bizarre that they would go crashing through the deep, dark woods at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. when it's pitch black without using a light source. It seems impossible to me that anyone could find their way through the woods in the dark like that. On one particular occasion, I heard the woodwalkers behind the house. Then I heard a branch of gunshots from directly behind it. It sounded like a handgun to me, and the next morning I wandered around the edge of my yard searching for expended brass, but didn't find anything. I found no trace or signs of anyone passing through the woods. In the days after the gunshots, I became increasingly determined to solve the strange mystery of the woodwalkers. I put a flashlight on a small dresser by my door. I patiently waited night after night to hear the woodwalkers come staggering through the woods. Sure enough, one night, I heard the familiar sound of something crashing eerie and slowly through the woods behind the house. I leapt up and rushed to gather the things I intended to carry outside with me, as I went to confront whatever it was that passed through the woods. I frantically pulled off my sweatpants and put on my jeans. I searched for my keychain, then unlocked the lockbox in which I kept my pistol. I loaded my ammunition into the pistol and tucked it into my belt. I grabbed my flashlight and quietly descended into the basement, then out the back door into the backyard. It took me far too long to get outside. By the time I cautiously strode out under the moonlight, I could hear the noisy movement of the woodwalkers receding into the distance. I walked slowly and stealthily out onto the edge of the woods and pulled my pistol out my belt. I crept soundlessly down the hill into the dark woods. I positioned myself defensively behind a large tree in case the woodwalkers carried firearms. I peered warily into the direction of the noise, my eyes strained to see whatever it was that was out there, but I could discern nothing through the shady branches of the forest. After a while, I pointed my flashlight towards the direction of the noise and turned it on. My night vision was instantly ruined by the reflection of light from the tangled mass of trees and branches. I turned the light off and listened to the sound of the woodwalkers fade away, and I went back inside in defeat. To this day, I wonder about the strange mystery of the woodwalkers. I'll never know who or what it was.